Hello everyone, it's me Jenny, and I thought it would be a good day for a not naked style video response day. Not response, just me, naked truth style, vulnerable, honest, straight out the shower, no makeup, wet hair, blah 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 blah. Vulnerable, honest, one take, first take, etc. Because basically I had a miserable day today at work and I want to vent about it because I just do, and usually I try and keep the negativity off the website type YouTubey things. Can you tell it's been a long day? My words are not working. But today I was like, you know what, everyone's human, everyone has a bad day, let's talk about it. So yeah, basically, like, I suppose this starts like 3 days ago because it's kind of been a run up to a bad day, and like part of the reason why I don't want to vent is because like everyone's tired at work. We're just coming to the end of the mad summer season, and then at the moment we're in the middle of the transition between one type of work that we do during the summer versus the type of work that we do the rest of the year, and so it's kind of, we're in the transition period. Everyone's on their last legs, everyone's, you know, cranky and tired and grumpy, and so I have no right to be as grumpy as I am because everyone's in the same boat. Also, everyone else is grumpy, but I feel like I ought to be better than them. I ought to be rising above it because, you know, I don't have any sort of home obligation to also stress me. The only thing that's stressing me out is Dungeons & Dragons. The fact that I haven't actually said this, I am moving out soon. Work, and those are the only things that are stressing me out at the moment. So I shouldn't be stressed out, apart from the fact that I am, and so be it. And sometimes I have the right to be grumpy because I've had a bad day at work. So basically, let's see, today is Sunday. Friday night was a very big event at work. It's one of the things we only do 4 times a year. It's really big, long day. Actually, the A to B's, it was lovely. It was a beautiful, beautiful sort of day. Everything went to plan, everything was relatively smooth. I made the mistake of not getting enough sleep that night, and then going in on what I thought was an early start, so I was at work at 6:45 for a normal early start, only to find that I was not meant to be in until 12. I was on a late shift instead of what I thought was a split shift. So then I got home, and what was lovely about that was it solved my whether or not to nap in the afternoon dilemma, and because I now drive, I was back in bed by like 7:25, which was great, and so I got to have my morning nap, and that was lovely, and that should have, you know, sorted me out. And then the actual afternoon was okay, but like I was on with a colleague who it was her second to last day. Her last day was Saturday, and so she was quite nervous about her new job, and she's very, very good at working very, very hard, and she's a lovely human being, and I will miss her at work because she is a very good worker, but she's not very good at working smart. And I was trying to do too many things at once, and trying to get ahead on certain things, and I just found myself constantly not doing what I ought to be doing. And so when all my colleagues came back, the list of things that I ought to have done, I hadn't done any of them, and I felt like a complete and utter failure. There was just a list of jobs that I was meant to do, and instead I just found myself, you know, there was things that hadn't been done from the morning that I was like, oh, I'll just do that one thing, and then I'll just do that one thing, and then I'll just do that one thing. And I keep my colleague calm, she's a bit of a natural panicker. I'm like, keep her calm. Oh dear, you know, there was a moment where something was broken, and I was like, okay, don't worry, we'll sort it all out, everything's fine, everything's fine. Spent my whole afternoon being like, everything's fine, and I'll do this, and I'll do that, and I'll do this, and I'll do that, and everything's fine, everything's fine. And then when it was time for the guys to come back and be like, so have you done your list? I'm like, nope, none of my list. And so then I felt like a complete and utter failure. But then, you know, everything was fine because we had enough time. It wasn't the end of the world. So I cracked on with all my work, and we managed to get it done as a team, but it felt like I hadn't done what I ought to have been doing, even though I was working hard. And again, I comment on my colleague working hard but not smart. I definitely haven't been working smart that day, but I was tired and blah 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 blah. And everything went fine in the evening, everything was as it should be, except for one colleague, not the same one, but one who was significantly below me, and I saw her doing something wrong, or, you know, not doing something as she ought to have done, and I called her over and I said, what happened with this? Genuinely asking, because you know, it could be my fault of training or not explaining what the task was or whatever, and I got an incredibly defensive answer, verging on genuinely rude, and then she stalked off. And this is someone who is 10 years younger than me maybe, who has an attitude problem, and I was genuinely asking her, did you understand what the briefing meant? You know, next time could you please? And instead I got a, you know, type response. So that kind of just put a sting on the whole evening. And then on the way out, and this is, you know, 12:30 at night, after I started work at 12, finished work at 12:30, after accidentally coming in the morning. And on the way out I got locked on grounds because you have to call to be let out of the grounds, and my colleagues went ahead of me, and then they didn't realise that I was running up to go get my car, so I got locked in, so I had to call them back and be like, I'm so sorry, could you reopen the gate? And I had to wait for them to reopen the gate. And then straight off the bat I had to be back at work the next day for 6:45 in the morning, so this is a late night followed by an early morning with a fine day, but again I just didn't get the work done that I wanted to get done, and a colleague was rude to me. And then comes Saturday, yesterday, early start after a late night, and managed to get most of what I wanted done. Did the work I should have done, everything's fine there, but just so looking forward to going home at the end of the day. And then because it was this colleague's last day, I potted downstairs to sort out some stuff downstairs and found that she'd like brought in some nibbles and some wine, and it was really like so nice of her. But I just wanted to go home. I just really, really wanted to go home to bed. But there I was in my work clothes at work, having to be polite while not drinking wine because I was driving. For in the end it was about an hour. And then they all decided to go out for a drink, and I was like, I don't want to be rude and I don't want to opt out and not go for a drink. And honestly, the moment I left work, the moment I got changed out of my work clothes and we went out to go to a pub, and I had a tonic water in the pub because I couldn't drink, it was really lovely and well worth doing. It was really nice spending time with that colleague for the last time and my other colleagues, and that was really nice. It was just being at work, not being paid for it or on my own terms, was just horrifying at the end of the day. But then I eventually came home. My sister's visiting, so I got my nap. I said hello to my sister. It was great. And then this morning, oh god, this video is going to be long. It's probably gonna cut out any second. So this morning I woke up again for another early start, so ready for work at 2:15. My clothes were still in the tumble dryer, so I had to run downstairs for all of my clothes, go into work. I was running a bit late, and then I was on with two colleagues who don't get on. Who spent the entire morning blaming each other for petty things in quite an aggressive way, which isn't like it's just their manner, but it comes off as very aggressive and very because you're not criticizing this other person, you are criticizing me type attitude. So that was very frustrating, and just the whole morning was spent trying to keep the peace and try and keep everyone relatively optimistic and hardworking because everyone's tired, the energy's low, and trying to get the work done, and trying to keep peace, and it was really very hard. In the meantime, I've got my work to do plus the additional work that I kind of had to do to keep everyone in order, and the stuff that I didn't necessarily trust them to finish. I had to finish that work, so I felt like I was working pretty hard on top of keeping the peace. And because on Saturday everyone was tired, everyone was grumpy and blah 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 blah, I didn't ask for a full handover, like the sort of handover I ought to have asked for. So there was a couple of things I needed to do that I wasn't really sure if I'd done right. There was a couple of things that I'd been told that it turned out I'd been told wrong. So I hadn't been told a lot of stuff, and the stuff I had been told was inaccurate. So I did as much as I could, and I tried my hardest. And then when my senior colleague, well, my colleague's at the same level as me but has some more experience in the particular place that I'm in, came in, he was like, you haven't done this and you haven't done that. I'm like, I know that I still need to do this, but I wasn't sure of the details, so could you please fill me in? And that was fine. And also, you've done that wrong, we don't need that. So I spent half an hour on a task that didn't need doing and takes 45 minutes to undo, which was really painful. So after all of that, and there was stuff that I hadn't had time to do again because I was too busy trying to keep the peace and trying to keep the work going, and all of that. And you know, the afternoon went. I had to keep every time there was a task that was kind of continuous every time. So basically, there was emails on the system that I had to do, and I was the only person doing those emails that day. So I had to do all of those and do the responses. On top of that, there was a task which basically anyone can come in and ask for this thing to be done. And during the course of the afternoon, I was the only one who was doing that. So every time I'd start doing a job that was like on the main body of the work they need to get done, and then someone would come in and I have to break from that to do this other thing. And so that kind of slowed down my work ethic as well, and I felt like I was being a waste of space and a terrible human being, and just not getting my list of jobs done. So, you know, I was getting there but not getting there. And then right at the end of my shift, and I've been at work at this point for 10 hours, a 10-hour shift from 7:15 till 5, and it was 5 minutes past 5, and I was just wrapping up, and then 2 more people came in who needed this thing done. I was like, okay, cool, I'll stay late to do that, I'll just have a cup of tea and I'll do this little task. And then one of my other colleagues who came in on the afternoon shift was talking to one of the newer girls who she's only been here a couple of weeks, and he made a comment along the lines of oh, you better work hard tonight, because now that you are at the level you're at, you need to show up the other members of staff. And I said, well, I think she works pretty hard. And he went, oh, I hope you're not talking to me. And I was like, no, I was talking, yes, I was responding to you, but I wasn't talking about you. You work hard. And he's like, I work harder than you. And this is a colleague who is a level below me, in fact 2 levels below me, and it was just the last straw. It was the end of the day, and I was just like, I didn't respond, because I don't. I went, yes, okay. That was my response, yes, okay. And I got in my car and I went home. And as I was getting in the door on the way home, I got a call from my colleague, who said, by the way, have you seen this little doodad that we need for the final part of the day? And I reached into my pocket, and there was this doodad that was needed for the last part of the day. So I got back in my car and I went back to work to drop off this doodad, because I felt guilty for having accidentally taken it home. And I just, like, the whole day I felt like I wasn't working as I ought to be, and I wasn't working efficiently. And I'm really hoping I turned my camera on. Okay, I did. Oh, that was a horrifying moment. I was like, this rant has gone on forever and I've not pressed record. And it just, like, it felt like the day had gone on for so long, and I'd worked hard. Like, it's one of the things that I really like about my job in comparison to my old place. That in my old place, I had a feeling of self-entitlement where I was like, you know, if I'm not here, the world will fall apart. And I'm so hardworking, and I'm the most hardworking person here. And it's so nice with this current job that I've had for the last nearly 2 years, where I know I'm not the most hardworking person, because every single person from every single department believes themselves to be the most hardworking person. Everyone believes that. And it's really nice knowing that I am not. I work hard, and I usually do a pretty damn good job, and I usually do more than what I ought to do. And I know that completely intellectually. I know that to be true, that I try and make life easier for the next person. I usually succeed, and I do a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't notice, that hopefully in the long run will make things easier for other people. And I know that I have left my mark on a place that is so old. I work in a place that is very, very historical. I work in a place that the oldest part of the building was built in 1130, I think. And the main part of the building that I work in was built in 1500s. Like, there is things that, like, in the weight of the building, my contribution will not be weighed or counted. I am just another body in an old I my impact will not be counted in 10 years, in 5 years. But right now, I can see that I've made a difference to work, and I do good things, and I do good work, and I don't get angry, and I don't get I don't snap at people, and I don't swear, and I don't say racist comments, and I don't say sexist comments. I don't say homophobic comments. I turn up to work in the correct clothing, at the right time, and I'm always polite, and I'm good to the clients, and I do physical labour as well as intellectual stuff. So intellectually, I know I'm good at my job, but right now I just feel like the worst. So, to conclude, have you guys had a bad day recently? What was your bad day like? Have you listened to all of this rant? And I apologise for it, but I really needed to rant today. Yeah, I felt like I got no thanks for the work that I did do, and the work that I did do was mostly wrong. But I know intellectually I did good work today, so screw it. I'm gonna go have a small glass of wine because I've got to work tomorrow, and hang out with my sister, who I'm neglecting to talk to the internet. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to comment. I'm gonna go have some chocolate cake. Well, I'm gonna have some soup first, and then some chocolate cake, and half a glass of wine, and then the world will be a better place tomorrow. But good golly, am I a grumpy goose today. Thank you for watching. Oh, and on top of that, on the journey home today, after all of that, there was some real buttholes of a drivers. There was 2 people who deliberately were breaking the speed limit and overtaking me, like, well and truly above the speed limit on country roads, and I was just like, screw it. Screw the lot of you. You guys are just bad drivers. Please don't, like, what's the point in going at 70 miles an hour in a 30 miles an hour zone? You idiots. You are going to get yourself hurt. Anyway, to conclude, bye. Bye 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 bye. I've got to edit this because I had to start the camera up again because it was running out of battery. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you all for watching. Let me know about your bad days so I feel a sense of solidarity. Bye for now. So, as a side note, it's about 10 minutes later than when I last filmed my video. I keep getting about to run out of battery, so I'll talk fast. So, 2 things have happened. One, I forgot to mention there was a massive tsunami in Indonesia, so I'm going to link to some sort of charitable website that will work for it, probably British Red Cross, down in the description below. So if you guys want to contribute to people who actually have a bad life, or no life at all in the case of Indonesia, it's over 800 fatalities confirmed so far, and I'm sure there'll be aftershocks and people who are stuck in rubble, and also, you know, hygiene issues. So if you want to donate to a good cause in the name of people who are having a bad day, who are having a genuinely bad day, link in the description. Also, I have to say, my dad and my sister are the best. My sister's just saying that she's going to make me a toastie, and my dad went out and bought me chocolates to make me feel better. So, yay! I have the best family in the world. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and bye again.